Elvis might be gone, but he still got it. I just finished watching Baz Luhrmann's biopic on the King of Rock. Y la verdad, mi familia, if I had to summarize it in one word, it would be overwhelming. Both in structure and in style, this thing is flashy, in your face, but it is a true homage to the King of Rock. While it is mostly focused from the perspective of Colonel Tom Parker, which is the very definition of an unreliable narrator, we get a deeper look into his relationship with the singer, and it's an introspective look into the entire journey of one of the best-selling solo artists of all time. One of the main things that I wanted to highlight is that this film does an amazing job at highlighting the excess that is involved out of this entire situation. There was extravagance and indulgence, and it also manages to pace the musical segments pretty well. And while we're on the topic of pacing, this movie's way too damn long. While it doesn't feel dull because I was entertained the entire way through, this thing was like 20 minutes way too long. With that being said, it is charismatic, and that is mostly due to Austin Butler's iconic performance. Because while it covers the amazing highs, it also covers the deepest, darkest lows, especially when it comes to exploring the sheer sadness that happened in the later stages of Elvis's life. As we know, he was plagued with malnutrition, exhaustion, and of course substance abuse that led to his untimely demise. We did get to see some of that, but I have to reiterate that this is a very stylized retelling of the Elvis story. It captures some of the essence, but it leaves a little bit of the dirty laundry under the window. It's less of a full biopic and more of a lavish pop tragedy. On the technical side, however, there's a lot of things that have to be commended. The production design, the sets, the costumes, everything looked on point, especially when you're trying to cover something as way back as the 60s and 70s. Speaking of, this man, Austin Butler, El Nene, El Papichulo. I've been a fan of this man since Zoe 101.
Good girl.
What did he say?
But this is a whole different level. The way that he channels the energy, the intensity, the way that he mirrors the iconic gestures from Elvis without it being straight into campiness. The style, the hair, the tone, the way that he talks, everything was beautifully made. I don't know what he had to go through in terms of dialect classes or just behavioral research into the Elvis role, but it paid off. He is the cornerstone of this film, and he's what makes it work. Considering that Elvis is one of the most imitated celebrities, at no point did this feel like a cheeky impressionist attempt. This is, for all intents and purposes, on the Austin Butler side, a full homage to the Elvis legacy. However, just like what you saw on the internet, I wasn't a big fan of Tom Hanks' portrayal of Colonel Tom Parker. I can't quite put my finger on all of it, mi pana, but it just seemed bizarre. Not Jared Leto in House of Gucci bizarre, more like it just didn't quite make sense. From the documentation that we got after both of their deaths, we know that Parker's transgressions were brutal. The way that he desecrated and fully took advantage of Elvis's weakness and his talent was deliberate. And in this case, it seems that in order to humanize him a tad bit, we go through his decision-making process a bit incoherently. It seems like he was stumbling through his decision, as if he had an inner conflict, which did not seem apparent from the retellings that we have of his actual life. In the end, this is a story of a degenerate gambler who found his golden ticket in an inspired, talented artist. Not gonna lie, it's not just with Tom Hanks. This stylistic choice follows through to the main man himself. We do get some slight insight into how his upbringing in Mississippi did change his musical tastes, how it shaped his style and range. But we did gloss over some massive issues throughout his career. For example, and perhaps most importantly, the appropriation of black culture and black music, his pursuit of teenage girls, his bitter temper, his destructive addictions, his issues with substance, and of course, everything, all of this spiraled into his untimely death. It's one of those situations where they cover it briefly, but they don't give it the right amount of justice that it deserves on both sides. It seems that at some point, the Tom Hanks story with Colonel Parker took precedent over Elvis. I think that was an attempt to maybe ridicule Colonel Parker, but to me, it cheapens the overall impact of the entire story. If you're gonna be straight up and cover every single aspect of the journey, it has to be both the good and the bad for all characters involved. But yeah, this is a solid representation of Elvis's life. From his poor upbringing in Memphis to a tumultuous lows and highs of his early career, into the glitz and glamour of his Vegas residency, and then to the premature and unglamorous death. This film, although it has many, many flaws, places us in the center of the entire roller coaster. And while it is problematic in some aspects, it is worth the watch. Pues claro, we have Austin Butler to thank for most of that work. He gave it his all with this performance in all its sweaty, jittery, crazy glory. Overall, if I had to give it a rating, I would place it at like a 7.2 out of 10. I feel like that's fair. If you took the time to watch this video up until the very end, I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, familia. And I also wanted to let you know that I have a ton of amazing projects coming soon. For example, as I mentioned in my other videos, I'm starting with the biggest project of my career, trying to start and finish One Piece. There's going to be a live action adaptation, so why not execute my journey throughout the entire source material. Besides all of that jazz, I'm gonna be streaming on this channel and posting the full VODs on my other channel, Tropical Joe VODs. Once I figure out how to post more than 15-minute videos, I will definitely do that. But I also wanted to shed some light on my gaming channel, which would host all of my reviews, gameplay, all of those clips that you know and love. I say all of this because YouTube is going to be my baby moving forward. Thank you for allowing me to make this space part of my life, and how allowing me to share my opinions on pop culture is now my career. If you want to support the journey, it is simple. All you gotta do is like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe with the notification bells on so you can get instant notice for whenever I post or whenever I go live. And if you want to support a little bit further with a little bit more spice, we also have the YouTube memberships. Basically, it is a tiered monthly subscription, and with every purchase, it helps me directly support the channel. Right now, every single cent that we gain through that is going towards my camera, because I'm recording with my phone and I need to elevate the quality, you know? Again, it is not mandatory, but it is very much appreciated. But hey, that is all it from me, familia. As always, remember to crack a smile, just ride the wave, and I'll see you on the next one. Blow!